Okay, good morning, everyone. On this Easter Sunday, I'm talking with Jason Vinson, a wedding photographer in Arkansas, about a pretty cool photo shoot that Jason did recently. But before we get to that, I just want to introduce you guys to Jason in case you don't know him. So, you want to talk briefly about yourself, Jason?
Yeah, so Jason Vinson, based out of Bentonville, Arkansas, wedding photographer. I also write for a website called fstoppers.com. They're a photography blog. I work a little bit with SLR Lounge as well. I run their master wedding and portrait photography Facebook group. And I also run the Facebook group for develop presets. So a little bit here and a little bit there.
Yeah, so you're staying really busy, and then you guys just had a baby
Yeah.
a few days ago. So
Yep. So
add
we're
to the workload.
Yeah, we're a husband and wife team. So I shoot all the time with my wife, Chasney. And we've had our son, Zayden, who is 2.5 years old. And we just added Riken Vinson. She joined us on almost a week ago.
Yeah, well, congratulations,
Thank you.
and I hope you're doing well in this crazy time that we're in.
Yeah, it makes it easy because with a newborn, you generally stay home anyway. So
Yeah, it kind of fits in, huh?
yeah.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about this shoot, and I guess you are. I guess you like to stay busy, right? Because you keep you keep you keep doing more things.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a handful of people have done photo shoots like this in the past, and the style of them has been more of that like light and airy style of photography. And so I thought it would be interesting to kind of see the style of photography that I like. And so I just kind of got a wild hair to get one set up. And yeah, I knocked it out in like 45 minutes while the two babies were sleeping. And yeah,
So
I had to go to my neighbor and ask him if they had, because we don't have any Barbie and Ken dolls at our house because our kids aren't that old yet. So I had to borrow a Barbie from a neighbor. He didn't have a Ken doll, so he texted another neighbor and got me a Ken doll and another Barbie. And so I had three to work with, three models.
so is this something you have to plan for a long time, or I mean, I guess we'll see all the photos, but did you just like jump to it and went from one to the other, or did you sketch it out, or did you?
Oh no, I treated it like a regular photo shoot. So I mean, I don't do any scouting or planning for any photo shoots that we ever do. And so it's kind of, I got the dolls um, like late morning. And then that afternoon when the kids were taking a nap is when I went out. And when I set out, I had no idea where I was going to start or where I was going to go. And I just kind of walked around the house and looked for interesting light and kind of went around like that.
So that's what you do with your couples, right? That's how you photograph like an engagement session or something. You just kind of like let let the photo gods dictate where you go and just
Yeah.
kind of wing it. And
Yeah,
you'll
I find we used to do a lot of scouting and planning, and I found that we'd get there early and we'd get all these shots lined up, or we'd go the day before and get like an idea of what we were going to do. And um, a lot of the times the light would be different, or the situation would be different. There'd be people in the way, and so I found myself spending a lot of time trying to make a shot work that would have worked the day before earlier,
Mhm.
um, make that happen, and just wasting time on something that in the end wasn't going to be as good as it originally was in my mind. And so now just going out to a location, I like to just see what I see and make that work. And so we just make sure that our couples know like there's going to be some walk-in. We chit chat in between location and location. And since me and my wife shoot together almost always, we kind of piggyback off of each other. And so if I have an idea, I'll shoot that for a little bit. And while I'm shooting, she'll kind of wander around to get her next shot. And then when she's working, I'm wandering around. And so there's not a lot of dead time as far as shooting from the couple's perspective, but we kind of get to take turns like that.
So I mean, you have a lot of experience. I mean, how many years have you been shooting wedding photography, roughly?
Coming up on 10 years.
10 years, right? So you have a lot of experience and confidence. So obviously you're not going to panic and think, oh my God, I got nothing, or there's nothing here to shoot. I have no location. This location
Yeah.
is not what I want, or there's nothing here to make a cool photo with, right? Besides the couple, there's nothing here. So
Right.
obviously you probably dealt with that feeling when you started like shooting. You like, oh my God, am I going to find anything? So how did?
Yeah, so and that's kind of what got me interested in using off-camera flash and lighting and stuff like that. And so when we're in a situation where there just isn't anything interesting, I just kind of have a little bit of a bag of tricks that I can pull out of my back pocket, and I can throw a light up and I can make something interesting, or I can use the scene around me to create light that would naturally be there at a different time of day that's just not there. And so yeah, so if the light's not working, or I have some tools to make it work.
Right. So because you know how to use the flash and you have that with you,
Hmm.
you're pretty sure that you can always put out a shot somewhere, no matter where it is,
Yeah.
anywhere. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
At any time during the day, any light condition, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Any
that's
light,
cool.
no light,
Right.
nighttime, daytime.
And
Yeah.
so your lighting kit to go these days is Magma. Are you
So
exclusively?
Magmod does the modifiers, but as far as like the actual flashes, I use primarily Godox AD200 flashes.
Mhm.
They're just a 200-watt second, kind of like a hot shoe flash, but they're tiny bit bigger, a lot more powerful. And then what I used for this shoot that we're going to go through right now is from a company called Light and Motion,
Mhm.
and they make a brand of lights called Stella lights. They're primarily video lights, but they're a lot more powerful than most video lights. Like the one that I used on this shoot is 8,000 lumens, and then I have a 5,000 lumen and a 2,000 lumen, and those are the 5,000 and the 2,000 are actually completely waterproof. Like you can submerge them underwater, because the company is based as like a dive light, like a scuba diving lighting company, and they're kind of making their way into photography and stuff. So yeah.
So you use those flashes a lot. I mean, they're not flashes; they're lights a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it just depends. So the reason why I use the video lights for these is just because I was in situations where um, I didn't need as much power as my Godox flashes.
Mhm.
And when I can get away with it, I like to use the video lights, because you see what you get. So you can fine tune your lighting a lot easier than you can with a flash, where you have to kind of like take test shots and all that fun stuff.
Right. So I mean, this couple is on a little bit on the small side, but for couples who are bigger, the video light will still work as well. Still,
Absolutely.
still powerful. And
Yeah.
and just roughly, how long does the battery last on the video lights? Can you? How?
It depends on the power. If you're at full power, then it'll last a couple hours just of
Right.
constantly being on. And so if you turn it on and off in between shoots and stuff, it'll last me an entire wedding, and I'll still have 50% battery life.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, and with some training and confidence, you can just kind of walk around with the couple, or um, walk around a couple and just have fun to see what comes up, to see what scenery, what background comes up, and just kind of take advantage of whatever nature gives you, right? Whatever the photo gods gives you.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
That's cool. And you usually shoot with your wife, like on even on a couple session. Both you guys come to go together.
Yeah, for the most part. On engagement shoots, sometimes I'll shoot those alone, just depending on our schedule and if we can find someone to watch our son. And then the last few photo shoots I've had to do alone, just because she was, 9 months pregnant and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And so in situations like engagements, then I'll shoot some of those by myself. But for the most part, we both go.
Yeah, because you probably want to have someone to hold the lights or position a light that you don't have to do yourself and go back and forth.
No, yeah, so we don't help each other light. We just kind of use that piggyback technique and stuff. But for the most part, the reason why both of us go is because both of us are going to be there on the wedding. And
Uh-huh.
so we want them to have the opportunity to get to know both of us, since they're going to be working with both of us. And so just kind of see how we both work, um, and how everything goes. And like, she's going to be with the bride for a lot of the time during the morning. I'm going to be with the groom for a lot of the time. And so they both need to know who we are.
Yeah, that helps a lot. So is the engagement session, is that something optional in your packages, or is that something you include just so you get to know them better?
It's included with some of our packages, and sometimes it's an add-on.
Mhm.
And then a lot of the times we'll use it as kind of motivation for a couple to um, go with us quicker, make a decision faster. And so we'll just tell them, sometimes
Yeah.
they pick a package or they're leaning towards a package that doesn't have an engagement shoot. We'll just tell them, hey, um, if you put down your deposit and sign the contract before this date, then we'll give you an engagement shoot for free. Because at the end of the day, we want them to have an engagement shoot because we want that opportunity to work with them. And so if we know that they're possibly not going to get one, we'll use it as motivation, or just to make them fall in love with us more, so that we're giving them something that they can see the value in.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's just so helpful to get to work with a couple beforehand and get to know them and understand who they are, and it's all good. Yeah, definitely. And they have great pictures of
Yeah.
their life before marriage. That's kind of cool. Yeah, cool. So you know, so you found this couple. You searched your neighborhood for this couple.
Yeah. Searched high and low.
You searched high
Found
and low.
a great set of models here.
Yeah, just you brought them out. Hung out with them all. 40. So the whole thing took 45, less than an hour, right? Because
Yeah.
yeah, because that's pretty fast. I find that, as we can see, you probably made 8 or 9 photos, and you were pretty fast. Is that's that like, yeah. Anyway, yeah, efficient.
Yeah. They didn't give us a lot of emotion. So normally in a 45-minute to hour shoot, we'd get a lot more than 9 photos, but
Huh.
you're getting some sweet moments and some laughing moments and all that fun stuff, but they weren't feeling the laughing moments. And um, I don't think I was going to get them to cry or anything like that. So we kind of went with some more standard poses and portraits and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. They seem like they had a go-to look, that
Yeah. Yeah.
that public face. That's the way they are. And
Yeah. They had that like blue steel modeling look.
yeah, some people like that. And I mean, yeah. And what can you do? You got to go with the flow. So um, it's cool. The lighting is pretty awesome in your photos, obviously. Um, Luckily, I guess you use some of your bright, sunny daily light to create some. This is sort of a California look, right? This is sort
Yeah.
of light and airy. Um, it's pretty. It's pretty. It's pretty, right? It's a very standard engagement photo pose. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hand on the cheek, looking to each other.
Yeah. If I can just can I critique your photos?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm no posing expert, um, but I just want to point out some things I see. One is I, I like what you did with the background, how it's blown out.
Mhm.
Not blown out, but it's out of focus,
Yeah.
so that it's not distracting, and the couple's in a nice green area, so that we can see the couple nicely, right? So the couple is not intersecting between gold and green. It's almost fully in the green, so that we can just don't have any distractions behind the heads. It's kind of cool. So that's a good job. Not like you need my validation or anything, but yeah. But for people who wants to to see what works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the one thing that I sometimes I see that could be distracting is the clothing of the couple.
Hmm.
And sometimes they wear what they wear, right? And you don't have clothes for them to change into. You're like, well, you show up with this, and I guess I'll shoot you, in this.
Yeah.
But I wish he was wearing something else other than red pants, because I guess the red pants are making me look more,
Oh, yeah.
because it's so bright, it's so colorful. If he was just doing something a little bit darker, So I don't know. It's just distract.
Yeah,
It's
I
competing.
usually try and get the, you know, get the guys to wear something a little more neutral on the pants, some jeans or some dark pants. But yeah, he showed up in his golfing attire. So
Yeah, yeah. The shirt is awesome though, but yeah, at least he doesn't have the a gigantic logo across his shirt, across his chest, or something like
right, yeah,
making you read it, and it's like distracting. But anyway, but it's it's a good outfit. It just seems like the red is jumping out a little bit more than the shirt.
hmm
And then the other thing is, yeah. So if I had to do this over again, I'd probably get her to change that rubber band on her hair. You know,
hmm
I put something cool, a little bit, not too distracting. I don't want to be distracting, right? But you wanted something a little bit more stylish than a rubber
and
band.
a rubber band. Yeah, at least you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have
yeah,
like the hair tie around the wrist that you always have to like Photoshop off and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. A wrist is clean. Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad he doesn't have a gigantic big watch on though, right?
All right.
Sometimes
Yeah, the
guys,
Y watch. I made sure he took that off.
yeah, make sure you take this watch off. Sometimes the gigantic watch is super distracting, but it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, the hair is awesome. It's just that I wish that rubber band was at least another colors. I don't know, whatever. It could be better.
Yeah.
But but it's cool that little separation between their faces. You know, like kissing is just too easy, right?
hmm
So I to see both their faces is pretty awesome. It's nice. It's nice to have that curve made just perfectly. It looks like they made for each other. You know, it looks
Yeah.
yeah, right. It looks like it fits right in, right? It's really cool. And he's looking at her, and she's looking at him, and I like what you do with her arm, you know, and it's like touching his face. It shows some touching, and I guess the his left hand is okay. If it would just, it's okay.
Yeah. I wish it was like actually on her hip, but I mean,
Yeah,
he was moving a little stiffly, and he didn't really want to cooperate with my posing guidance, and so he just kind of let his arm hang down right there, and it is what it is.
yeah, 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 but yeah, yeah. I guess butt grabbing probably a little bit too much, but somewhere between some a little bit more togetherness. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. But and he's a good looking guy, so I mean, his face is awesome. Generally, do you find that most of the time, I guess this applies more with the brides. Most of the time when I photograph the pose, I tend to photograph the bride facing the camera more
yeah,
because she's wearing the grand gown and I want to see the gown, you know? And so like who wants to see the tux, right? We want to see the gown. Anyway, so I find myself maybe flipping this situation where she's we can see more of her and then the man is seen less.
yeah.
That's more during the wedding. Anyway, so I wonder if I think there's a behind the scene to this.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's right in the plant, and you got this it's not a flash, it's a
Yeah, it's a Stella CLX8, so it's just a video light,
mhm.
and it's got the Magmod CTO gel on the front of it.
To make it a little bit
Yeah, to give it that
golden
color.
to get the you have the California gel on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's yeah, okay, that's so what lens did you shoot this with?
Oh,
Like a roughly. Nice.
I'm pretty sure it was at 35,
Okay. Okay.
but I'd have to double check. 35 or 85.
Yeah. Yeah. So you put them in a
It's hard
clean.
because they're so small. So normally I'd be able to tell by the picture, but the ratios are a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. So how cropped is this photo?
I don't think it's cropped at all.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you got really close in there. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it has a really good that flat. It's about just one light, huh? Pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah, just one light to give that kind of that sun flare, and then the rest of the light is just ambient coming in from the shaded side of our house.
So do you find that this works with big couples too? Same method?
Um, yeah, it would just be to get that out of focus area. You would
Yeah.
just need more separation, and in that case, I would absolutely be using an 85 millimeter lens.
All right.
I'm pretty sure here I'm using 35, but yeah, just you would just need more separation. They'd need to step off of that green a little bit more. And then I'd also need probably a stronger light to get that sun flare, just because of the distance between them and the light.
Right. Okay. So this is in the shade, right? So you shot in the shade with the light. All right, brilliant. Cool. Thanks. Next one. All right. So this is more glam, a little bit of a high tech because of the, it's less naturey because it's not there's no plant behind them.
Yeah.
So it's look indoorsy. It has a really, I don't know, I would call it techno feel, modern, urban feel.
Uh-huh.
I guess some couples like this if they live in a city and then we're not walking around the park or something where we can find us,
Yeah, something you'd find on like the side of a museum or.
Yeah. And you put them in there, and obviously we always want to light up their faces, right? Because if we don't have a light to use, the faces will be dark, and then we have to look for a window or a reflected surface somewhere, or a, what do you call that? Reflector, usually
yeah.
Whatever. But with the light, you can just add the light, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So sometimes I see this pose, and it's like a very glamorous pose where they just kind of like looking off, like being cool. I don't know how that translates to being cool, but it looks cool. It looks like they're separated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's got her hair down, took a rubber band off, and let the swing the head a little bit, let the hair loose.
Yeah, let it flow.
Yeah.
She's got that nice long blonde hair, so we might as well show it off a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So the background is it's awesome. So it's good. So I'm really curious to see how you shot this one.
Yeah.
See where the behind the scenes. Oh, it's the old backyard.
Yeah, the old smoker.
The old smoker shot.
Yeah, that's a classic one that I think everyone could use. But there's light shine. I saw the light shining through these lawn chairs that we have that gives that kind of like those dots.
Mm-hmm.
And so I set the chair up to shine those dots on the smoker, knowing that the highlights would be bright, and then I could make the smoker go to black. And then I set them up on a little chair, a little ice chest. And then I framed them in a dark part where there weren't any dots. And then I used the CLX8 with a CTO gel again. But then in Lightroom in post, I brought their skin tones back to neutral, which made the sunlight, those dots, go to blue.
Wait, so the dots go blue in post processing?
Well, just because the dots go blue because of the white balance. So because they're getting lit orange, whenever I make their white balance neutral, the dots go to blue.
Got it. Right.
Because otherwise, like if the dots were a neutral color, then they would be orange, because I'm lighting them with an orange gel.
Got it. So without the light in this photo, if you shot it without the light, the faces would be just dark.
Yeah, they would just be in almost full silhouette.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So the blue and orange are complementary, as they say, right? Is that?
Yep. Yeah. Complementary colors on a color wheel.
Color wheel. That's how it works. Yeah. Right. So in this case, I would probably change his shirt so that it's not blending in with blue, right?
And then she's wearing blue too.
Right. Or maybe that works. Who knows? That's all, whatever. Anyway, not to be too picky about it. So a little separation as opposed to lovey-dovey. This has a little bit of a cool feel to it.
Yeah, we got to get that GQ vibe.
Yeah. Got to get a little bit of both. So do you find that some couple want both, or are some couple would just go one way and not the other? I don't know.
I think our couples want both because that's what we show. Okay. If you show a lot of lovey-dovey stuff, then that's probably what you like to shoot, and that's probably what your clients are going to look for. So that's why we always tell people to just post and share what you like to shoot, and then whenever people hire you, they'll expect to get that. And so we showed a lot of those like epic portraits or the GQ style, like looking cool stuff. And so our couples expect that, and that's what we like to shoot.
I mean, in the same couple. I imagine you just want to do both and let them choose later, or
Yeah, yeah. So if we're set up in a situation, we'll get a handful of poses and a handful of um, feelings, I guess. So
Mhm.
maybe just kind of staring off and then kind of snuggling up with each other and stuff. So if you're gonna set up light and a background and get them all set up, then you might as well get a couple variations out of the same situation. But I think for this one, I just got the one because, like I said, they weren't being too emotional with each other.
Yeah, and I guess this when you do these poses with couples, it will show you what they appreciate later on, like when they see these pictures, so that you know what to do at the wedding. You know
Mhm.
how much time to spend on each pose at the wedding. Like if they love lovey-dovey, then you can do more of that at the wedding because you've
Yeah,
seen.
totally. That's a great trick to do is just after you deliver the engagement gallery, go through and see what they order prints of.
Yeah, cool. So that saves you a lot of guessing. That just allows you to use your time better
Yeah,
at the wedding and what you want to shoot for them, posing wise. Okay. All right. Now we have even more artsy. So we
yeah.
it's
Even more
very
GQ.
artistic, right? With a lot of black, a lot of black. So sometimes we see this on a side of a building or something, right? And there's a patch of sunlight coming through,
Mhm.
and then you just put the couple there and just like, so it looks like very natural light. To me, it looks like there's no flash and no lights added.
Correct. You can do this with Flash. Um, it just you're basically just putting the flash where the sun would be in this situation. So the sun shining through some slats of window blinds. And
Right.
so if you put a flash in the same direction that the sun is shining, you could do this with Flash, but it was already there. So it's what drew me to the scene in the first place. Um, and so yeah, just exposing for those highlights and making sure that the majority of their faces and especially their eyes are within one of those highlight lines.
Yeah, because you want to see you don't want the black lines to block out their eyes for sure.
Yep.
Cool. And so when you do this, typically it's really hard for people to look into the light like that. Like they'd be squinting and stuff. But this couple is doing it really well.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't do a lot of blinking into the sun or squinting. They held their cool.
Yeah, yeah. And even like holding hands. So
Yeah. And
that's
she's got her hand up like on her hip. And so she's
oh
got
yeah,
that,
yeah.
that cool feeling, that cool vibe going.
They have great posture, I feel like
Yeah.
they know how to pose. So yeah, yeah. But not every couple knows how to pose. So I guess that you have to be some sort of you have to demonstrate for them, right? Do you know all the poses, Jason? Do you?
Um, we don't get too crazy with like drop your shoulder up, move your chin, and all that fun stuff. We just get people connected, and then I'll fine tune them from there, just on like what I'm visually seeing.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, I will kind of grab onto one of their shoulders if I'm trying to kind of show what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, there's some funny behind the scenes photos of me holding onto a groom's arm, like looking into the sunlight, snuggled up.
Demonstrate how it's done. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. Yeah. So adding this little black on the left is kind of adds a little bit more artistic, and this thing just
Well,
is.
that's just that it just naturally went to black whenever you expose for those highlights. So I didn't burn those down or anything like that. That's just naturally what it is whenever you because that's those slits of light are so bright coming in through the window, and
Right.
there's no other light within the room.
Right.
So you can kind of tell already if you were to drop your exposure so that those highlights were actually exposed correctly.
Yeah.
All the rest of those shadows and stuff like that just fall to black.
Right. Right. I don't mean add. I mean include.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
Include.
yeah, yeah. I like the negative space, and I love that triangle. So I wanted to make sure to include the full triangle,
Yeah.
but I didn't want it too close to the top of the edge to where it looked um, unintentional, I guess. So I made sure I was back enough
Yeah.
to include that full triangle, and yeah,
So this will make a pretty good, pretty cool, nice big canvas print. The client might want to have a gigantic canvas
Yeah,
print.
I might have to gift them like a 20 by 30 gallery wrap or something like that of this one.
Yeah, because I don't know. I've heard that here and there, some couples don't like to display photos of themselves too big. Like they don't want a gigantic, print of themselves in their house. And but if
Yeah,
you print something bigger that has more space, then they can be smaller, but it's still an awesome big print.
yeah,
Some couple, everybody's different. Okay, so this is the behind the scenes here. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
yeah.
You got a little soft space to work in. So you
Yeah,
don't.
and that's why I cut off at like their shins, because the dog bed isn't too aesthetically pleasing, and so we didn't need to include the ground in that image.
Yeah, definitely a natural crop right there. Okay, cool, cool. Oh man, this is it looks difficult, but is it really hard to shoot? It looks like there's a lot of things involved here.
No, it was the trick here was I was just drawn to this tree. Um, the sun is coming from behind the tree, and so when you look at it towards the sun, the leaves kind of light up and glow. And
Mhm.
if you frame those leaves up against something that is dark, so in this case it's the side of my house that's in shade, then those leaves just pop even more. And so placing the couple in a gap of this tree so that they kind of stand out a little bit more, and then I backlit the couple with a light.
So yeah, so I mean, you guys are from Arkansas, so you guys are probably pretty nature adventurous. So like, just go behind the bushes, go in the trees,
Yeah,
go in the
totally.
woods. There's no big
Uh,
deal.
if the couple's a little bit bigger, it can be a little harder to find a tree that's big enough to kind of frame them like this.
Yeah.
But because of their size, it made it a little bit easier.
And now I've seen that sometimes in post process, I've seen you done like where you just added more leaves just to make
Hmm.
the photo a little bit more dramatic, right?
Yeah, I did that in here too. There's maybe two or three little gaps in the tree where they just weren't completely filled in, so it's just all black.
Yeah.
And so I filled those in with some more leaves.
Right, right.
So I won't be submitting this to Fearless Awards.
Yeah, I mean that's not allowed in some competitions, but for the
Yeah.
clients, you can do anything, right? You can add anything. It's for the clients.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So that's always a technique. So here's the these are the leaves, and there's a couple, and
Yeah,
there's
and,
a
and
lot
even framed up against something bright, you can see how those leaves are kind of glowing. And then on the left-hand side of the frame where they are, you can kind of see how it's falling to shadow, because that's where our house is, and so it's blocking the sun. And you can see how long the shadows from those bushes are, and so you can see how low the sun is.
So you I guess you've shot this you've shot like this a lot, and you can
Once or twice, I've done something similar.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you can envision it happening. You can envision it, right? But for me, I guess if I'm not used to it, it's hard for me to envision something like that coming out of this. So I have to like fidget and experiment and
Yeah.
put a couple there for a while, and then look around, and it just I probably wouldn't even come to this tree like that. But it's kind of interesting that you have the experience and you pulled it out of this tree.
Yeah, and it helped because I've been doing like a documentary project with our son Zayden for the last 20. I think I'm on day 25 of shooting him every single day since we've been in like self-isolation.
Mhm.
And so I have actually like a documentary picture using this tree, and he's in the shadow or like in one of the highlights in between those bushes.
Mhm.
And so I had this in mind because I knew that it was there because I had shot it before
Mhm.
with this actual specific tree.
So I guess I don't want to emulate your shot, and I don't want to copy your shot to be exactly like your shot. But I do like what you're thinking here, and I do like the approach that you take.
Hmm.
So I guess what I'm saying is, if I want to copy you, I want to just explore this concept further. I would start from where you start, and I would try to improvise it a little bit differently. Maybe try do it a little bit differently, my way, maybe not exactly the way you would do it, but I would take your approach and see if I can make it add my changes or my improvisation to it.
Add your fingerprint to it.
Add my fingerprint to it. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't copy, but improve it. Make it yours. Add your fingerprint to it. Okay, cool. So what is this? What is this style? And why did you cut off her hair? Her beautiful hair.
Oh man, I cut off her hair because it was just a little too like 80s cheerleader-ish for me.
Okay.
So I was just kind of, letting the ponytail be its ponytail, but I didn't want to like it. It took up like 1/4 of the frame if I kept the hair all the way in, and so I kind of chopped it off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, still let you see the style of it and all that, but kind of minimize how much of the frame it took up.
Yeah. It looks like a studio shot almost. Like it was almost like an indoor studio. No.
Yeah, and essentially it is, and we'll use this technique a lot outside as well. Similar to the last shot with the trees, just as long as you frame them up against something that's dark, then you can let that kind of all fall to black.
Yeah. Cool. Let me see. Is that about? Yeah. So you made your little studio. This is your little corner here, and you put a light on them. Yeah. So this is just one backlight. Yeah, obviously. I guess it could be the sun, right? I guess you're simulating the sun here.
Uh,
I got cut off a little bit, but I hope we can keep the connection. You got cut off, but just tell me when you're back, Jason. Come on back, Jason.
I'm back.
All right, good. Sorry. Okay, good. All right, let's just continue. It looks good. Yeah, so I was saying before we got cut off that this looks like you're simulating the sun, right? Just one light source right behind them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done something very similar with using the sun in the past too. So it's definitely possible with the sun.
Yeah.
But the idea is that the sun is coming and rim lighting him.
Yeah.
And then she's staggered just a little bit. So they're not nose to nose. So if they're looking at each other, they're kind of staggered just a little bit so that the sun is rim lighting him. And then that same light is bouncing off of his face and then filling in her face, which gives her a nice soft light because his face is a lot larger as far as a light source because it's larger and close to her. So he gets like a nice masculine rim light and then she gets a nice soft light on her face.
So you prefer this setup, this pose, rather than just nose to nose and completely symmetrical, right? Because
yeah,
you see more of her face. So it looks like it would work during the wedding day too, where he might be wearing a white shirt that could reflect really well.
yeah.
Into her face. And you can see her beautiful dress. Yeah, it's awesome. Cool. and you can see his hair, which is perfect all the time.
I know. Yeah,
Um,
he used this. I don't even know what type of gel it was, but I mean, his hair didn't move the entire day.
yeah, right. It's perfect. Ah, here's the silhouette. All right, so right, so nose to nose, then you have a full silhouette, which is
Yeah,
they have good silhouettes. It's pretty awesome. That
yeah, their profiles are pretty nice.
yeah. Um, and then you added a little dinosaur, just
Yeah, he just happened upon the scene, and I waited for him to come in and kind of fill the left side of this frame for me.
just to add something to it, right? Just add a little
Yeah,
visual, a
little drama.
little drama. Yeah, yeah. It's right. And then my only the face is a really good silhouette. The dinosaur is really good silhouette. And in this case, if she was wearing something that gives you a better silhouette, the dress, the way that it's bunching up, it looks kind of a little bit weird. But it's,
No, yeah, I see that.
you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. What can you do?
like maybe have her turn a little bit more so you could see her body profile a little bit more. I mean,
Or pull the dress in a little bit more so there's no so you can
yeah,
just
no gap
see
there.
the
Yeah,
body or something. But he's casting a
yeah,
really.
he looks slim and fit for sure.
I know, right? He's wearing that shirt that is just tight. It's cool. All right. So you have let me see a behind the scene. Ah, there they are with the dinosaur. So in this case, you lit up the wall so that it bounced the light. Yeah, so the background is super light, and then you darken up the whole frame. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. So light on the wall, exposed for the highlight of the wall, and then they go to silhouette.
And this reminds me of the first picture of the plant around the on the outside of the house, where you want to be far enough away from the wall so the wall doesn't be, so you don't see the wall as the wall. You just see some kind of background, right?
Yeah, I would have preferred for the texture not to be there. But in order to make the dinosaur work, I had to shoot this at like f16 or something like that. And so that made the wall become a little bit more in focus.
Right. So it's a trade-off. It's always a trade-off, right? You want this, you got to give up that. And
Yep.
it's like making this. I guess that's what makes photography fun, is that you can pull these levers and negotiate. I want this. I'm gonna give up that.
Yep. Sacrifices.
Yeah. Just he looks like a James Dean looking character,
Oh,
huh?
what?
Like a James Dean. Like he's like I want to see that cigarette sticking out his mouth or something. He looks like a like a like an old 1950s smoker
Yeah.
dude. Okay. In a positive way. Not talking about bad about him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Positive way.
And smoking in a healthy way, not an unhealthy way.
Yeah. Maybe just being cool with a cigarette. Maybe not even smoking. Maybe just holding it. Okay. Okay, there's the scene. Oh wow. So this is like using these beams that are so mysterious, right? And
Yeah.
it's just
This is
looks
to give that like that club feel. Like we're getting ready to go to the club. She's got her dress on. He still has his red pants on, but we're gonna go out dancing.
yeah, it's like ultra cool. It's not just cool. It's like nightclub cool. So I'm guessing that these two are light sources, and then you're just using them to light, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, these are two new lights that I just got to write a review on. So I haven't gotten to use them
Uh,
since I got them. And so I figured I'd put them to use. But they're basically similar to a lot of people know the Westcott Ice Light. So similar to that, but these are 4 feet in length. And so they're really long.
mm-hmm.
And then you can adjust the color temperature as far as Kelvins go from cool to warm. And then it also has a hue saturation luminance mode where you can actually completely change the color for the full color spectrum, as well as the hue and the saturation of those colors, or the saturation and luminance of those colors as well. So I made one blue, made one orange, And then I made sure that their faces were being lit by the oranger light, so that the rim light was kind of that cool color, but then on their skin they still have that like warm light on them.
So ex- that's what they're used for exactly, right? It's just to shine a color light on subjects.
Yeah, on subjects or on a wall or anything that you would normally light up. Yeah.
For portraits, probably. For portraiture.
Yeah, they're used a lot in videos and stuff like that. They have video like these. I haven't played around with them because I don't do video, but they have these video modes where you can actually simulate with the light. You can simulate fire and like flickering TVs, and you can simulate police lights and stuff like that. And so you can have them like in the background flashing, and it'll look like there's a fire on in the background, or police cars or something like that.
So these are sold to wedding photographers as.
I don't think they're marketed primarily to wedding photographers, but it's just something that I liked. They were at WPPI, so they must be trying to come into the market. They're cool. They have a lot of uses.
Do you have an idea how much roughly it would cost?
I think for the 2-pack here, I think they're $750-ish, or not too long ago they were on sale for around $500 for both of them.
Okay.
And they get pretty bright, which is nice. And they come with a pretty nice little carrying bag with some like different mounting hardwares and cables and stuff like that.
Right, and then the battery up, so you just charge them.
Yeah, they run off a battery, or you can plug them in, and they have these special cables where you can link the two lights together.
Yeah.
And then so whenever you set one color, the other light will be the exact same color, so you can link them together like that and stuff too.
Nice. So you're gonna be writing about them? You said you're doing a review.
Yep.
Cool. All right, let's move on. We're almost to the end. There's a few more left. All right, so this is artistic because it's directional lighting. It could be flash. It could be sunlight. It's probably flash because you're a master of flash.
It's actually sunlight.
Damn it! Right? Because it's so good. It's like it has good shadows, and it's the good angle. It's what do you call this angle? But it's really glamorous. The hair is showing.
Yeah. His hair is still looking good. He took her hair out of the ponytail.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Just it's seen in black and white now. This one in black and white really shows off the lines and the contours of their faces. And I don't know if you have a behind the scene to this one. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so same setup as before, where those dots are coming in from that chair. But this time there's you can kind of see the triangle where there's the back of the chair, and then the bottom of the chair where you sit, there's like a gap. And so the light's shining through there, and that's what's lighting their faces. And then the rest is dots from the actual chair.
Yeah.
And then the rest is going to black just because it's up against that black smoker.
That's cool. I don't know how you see that, but you saw it. I guess the part of your training or part of your development as a photographer is learning to envision things that are obviously there and kind of.
In this case, it was just being open to things not being what you expected. And so I was actually in the process of setting up the first one, where I had envisioned the first shot where it was the dots, and then I was going to sidelight them with the flash and stuff. But as I was setting up the chair, I saw how that strip of light, I was trying to get the height of the chair set where I wanted it, and then I saw how that strip of light came through. And so then I got this image before I actually got the one where the dots were blue. Because as I was adjusting the height of the chair was too high for what I wanted, but since it was already set there, I had them set up real quick, got my image, and then readjusted the chair and got the one that I initially had planned.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite one because I don't know. I like black and whites in general. It's just personally, it's all good, but like it's not lovey-dovey, but it just makes them look so beautiful. Like it just it glamorizes them so well. It's the way
Yeah.
this angle light is coming in. Although I do have a suggestion, Jason.
Yeah.
If we can crop a little bit better, like less on the bottom, so you don't see that super bright arm,
Yeah.
the arm, so it's not so long. So you eliminate the bottom part a little bit, right?
Mhm.
So you just make it a little bit less background, so that they can become a little bit bigger. So basically, go in about take about 10% off. Just go in about anyway.
Yeah. Get them more in that bottom left third is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
up a little bit. Yeah.
So let me see. I just like to crop things. Something like this. Something like this. Anyway, so start.
Gotcha. Yeah.
As you want to.
Yeah.
You get rid of that bright arm.
Yep. I like it.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be very happy with this. You know, I think this shows a lot of the beauty, a lot of the glamour that I'm sure they want. I have a feeling it's a glamour couple. Look
Yeah.
at
They do a
this.
lot of modeling, I think.
I know, right? This is so glamorous. This is like it's like seeing them. Plus, you have art around you, right? It's not just them, but it's them and cool stuff. So I guess
Mhm.
that's what clients want, right? They want us to give them at their prettiest mode, if it's a portrait,
Mhm.
loving mode, and then also include artistic background, cool background, sentimental background, right? Background with meaning for them, or just cool background.
Mhm.
That's what we do as photographers for our clients, right?
Yeah. Totally.
So maybe this lamp, this chandelier has a lot of meaning for them, you know,
Yeah.
and
They love that chandelier.
they love the chandelier and they have it in the house or something.
Yeah, this
And
this image would be really hard to make with a couple that was bigger for sure. Um, but I thought it was interesting, and then I made it go black and white because, as you can see in here, they're kind of got that orange color. The lights are that orange color, and so I have this like general rule: if everything is the same-ish color in a frame, then just make it black and white.
right, otherwise it looks like it's all orange. Cool.
Yeah.
So I guess you had to Photoshop out the edges of the windows here. Did you shoot it with
No,
them?
I'm shooting up at an angle, and so they're getting framed, but so the window edges below the bottom of the frame.
Mhm.
I'm shooting up at them, and so all of that, the wall and the ceiling go to black because I'm exposing for the highlights of the bulbs, and because I'm so close, you can actually see the lines of those Edison bulbs, and so I'm really underexposing those light bulbs so that you can see those lines, and by doing that makes everything else fall to black. And they're really close to those lights as well, and so they're getting a lot of that light.
Yeah. I hope they didn't get too hot. It's not a hot light, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty warm. I was sweating by the end of this part of the shoot.
Yeah, I hope it didn't melt them or something. You know, I mean, I hate to put my clients at risk for stuff like that, but
I know. Yeah, I
safety,
normally wouldn't put a couple in
that much heat.
that much danger, but they're up for it.
Okay, cool. As long as they're safe, you know,
Yeah.
we definitely want to take care of our clients. I guess my other point is that seeing how careful you are to frame it. I mean, you you are a post processing wizard. I mean, you can do a lot in post processing. You can, but you also take care to make your photos as clean as possible whenever you can. So you save that time later. You don't have to spend a lot of time cleaning up the mistakes or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah. Post processing is like the polish. So you can't polish a turd. So you want to come out with something good. Or I like to think about it like baking a cake. So you take the photo, that's the cake, and then in post you still have to decorate it, but you still need to have a good solid cake to decorate.
True. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Um, and my advice to photographers has always been just to take much time to make it as good as you can. Within, don't spend too much time, but you can. The less fixing you have to do, the better, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Almost to the end here. So this is if there's a name for this pose, I probably, like the separation or something, right? It's like it's like too cool, right?
Yeah.
Like like why did you put them so far apart? Like what's the
I don't know. I just liked how it felt. I wanted it to have that kind of like symmetrical, square, um, balanced frame, but I didn't want them to be like dead in the center, I guess. And so letting them step apart a little bit,
okay.
giving them their own room to shine,
Yeah, yeah.
still looking towards each other, so they're still connected as far as eye lines.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, I guess it's good for variety. You have a lot of close in tight shots already. Why not separate them
yeah,
a little bit, play around with some different posing actions? Cool, cool. Yeah, she does have big hair. So
yeah. It's out there.
you're right, you're right. Okay, what else? So this is right. So you need a nice big clean surface with backlighting. The light's coming up really nice.
Yeah, it's coming in at like an angle. You can see how it's shining through the window and lighting up
Hmm.
the side of the wall there, and so that's why she's being lit, but he's not.
Hmm.
And then there's actually there's a ledge outside that's blocking some of the light from um, the right hand side of that window,
Hmm.
and so he's not in as much light as she's in. So he goes to more of a silhouette while she's still being lit.
Which works out for you, kind of. I mean, circumstances. There's nothing
Yeah.
you can do about it. I guess you just have to go with it, huh? Yeah.
Yep.
But luckily, he's a good silhouette guy, so
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
got that going for us. Yeah. Yeah, but I can imagine this. Like, if she's wearing a wedding gown, that would be so lit. Like, she would be just perfectly wearing a gown, and
Yeah.
you can see that.
Have that nice little light on it.
Yeah, that beautiful wedding gown and beautiful hair flying around. It'd be cool to put like. Imagine it'd be kind of fun to put a fan on this, and let the hair just
Oh
blow.
yeah, let the hair down, get it flowing in there.
Let's
Yeah,
blow
that'd be
with a
great.
gigantic back
Dang,
pattern.
I should have done that. I should have brought out the hair dryer or something. I got some movement in there. Dang,
Let
all
the
for
hair
this shoot, I
move.
guess.
I don't know. Okay. Oh, so this is pardon the pun, but spotlighting. So you found a spot and you just put it right in a spot, right?
Yeah, just put her eye right in there. She told her not to blink, so I could see her eye in there.
So you probably use the trick where you have a closer eye and you say, "Open your eyes and I'll shoot," and then
Yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 3, and then you open, shoot, 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 and then right before they squint,
right, and then they can't see anything the rest of the day. But
yeah,
yeah,
they're seeing spots for the rest of the day.
but it's worth it, right?
Yep.
It's kind of cool. So why did you? I guess if he's in the photo, then he'd just be dark. There's no other place
Yeah,
for.
there's only just one little row of those dots, and so
Cool.
only enough light for one person. So we went for her. And this is actually the light or I don't think there's a behind the scenes for this one because it's the exact same as the one with the triangle and the slits of light.
Yeah.
Just the blinds are closed, and so the light's coming through the little holes in the blinds where the strings go through.
Right. Right. So this is a good example of a photo that's not obvious that shows all their faces, and we've had we've shown tons of those.
Hmm.
But this is something that's more playful, more artistic, and it's obscure, and it's like just seeing one eye, why not, right? Just
Yeah,
seeing, yeah, and they can take it or leave it. You just shoot it for them, shoot it for fun, have fun with it, and it may not be on the wall later, or it may be. But
yeah,
it's
probably
yeah,
not on the wall, but they might like it and post it up to Facebook or Instagram or something like that, or I
yeah.
might like it enough to post later on. But yeah, it was fun, and we were already set up for the original shot, and so it was easy to just kind of knock out a couple of it. It's not something I'd probably spend a ton of time on.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
So are you? So when you do engagement shoots, are you conscious of, um, how much you ever quantify how much you do for fun? Let's little bit extra you do for yourself because you're like, I really want to try that, and why not do it now?
No, I mean, I have to, I more treat an entire shoot as fun stuff that I want to do.
Uh-huh.
And so I have to consciously tell myself, oh, I need to get the grandma shot of them looking at the camera. I need to get some of, them laughing and playing with each other and stuff. So I generally go into a shoot doing all of the stuff that I want.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
Which is what I post. And so that's what they like anyways, hopefully.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
why they hired us.
They hire you to turn you loose and get as creative as possible and roll with it. And
Yeah.
I mean, as photographers, we would all want that, to keep our creative juices going and to do our best work
Mm-hmm.
for our couples. All right. So, usually we have problems when the face is not lit, like lit. But we can do this, and it's kind of artistic, right? It's like it may work or it may not work, but why not do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the tube light image.
Hmm.
This is the exact same scene. I didn't move the lights, didn't move them. I just got in closer and then turned it black and white.
Right, because otherwise it'd be orange and blue.
Yep.
Right, got it. All right, Jason, we're at the end of this session.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure you follow all safety protocols here and this social distancing, physical distancing time. Didn't
Yeah.
put in any.
Yeah. They sanitized really well.
Okay.
A lot of hand sanitizer and Clorox wipes and stuff like that. And
You didn't have to leave the house or anything like that. You were
stayed at home.
staying within the vicinity.
I didn't cough on them or anything like that. So they were safe for sure.
It's all good. All right, cool. And yeah, so I want to thank you for going through these photos. Very interesting.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's interesting. Yeah, that's all I come up with. So you tell us about your, is it Patreon page?
Yeah.
What kind of program you have going?
Yeah, so I have a handful of different tiers, and it's just a way for me to, I've always, ever since I started, I've been really into educating photographers and creating content and stuff like that. And so this is just a way for me to spend a little bit more time on things like that and make it so I can. And so there's different tiers that you can sign up for, and they're pretty cheap. I mean, it's 1 or 2 cups of coffee a month, and I post at least 2 to 3 per month. This month I'll probably do a little bit more since we have some more time at home. But just talking through, image deconstructions, how I shot certain images. I've gone through an entire session and walked through step by step how I edited each image, and things like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we know where to find you, and I hope you all will come check out Jason's work here and sign up and learn from Jason, and we'll see more of you in the future.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jason.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording right here.